Nowadays, it seems like the entire world is obsessed with broadcasting whatever they're doing. However, with streams, there's only one problem. They're live. So naturally, when things go terribly wrong, the moment of disaster and the aftermath are usually all captured and broadcast for the world to see. But I'm Ryan from Tragedy Tales, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, every other week, we dive into all things tragic. But today, we're going to delve into 5 more shocking and horrifying live streams, from a tractor stunt in India that went terribly wrong, to the professional gamer who saw red after losing a Madden tournament. This week genuinely has some horrifying entries that I'm sure will keep you up at night. So, without any further ado, grab a drink, draw the curtains, and sit down. Let's get right into it. Tractors, originally invented to help farmers pull things like plows through fields, are large and often extremely heavy. While they're primarily used for farming, in countries like India for example, tractors have gained popularity for their tricks, attracting large audiences both online and in person. With tractors weighing on average of 5,000 to 6,000 pounds, people have mastered pushing these heavy machines to their limits, and one of these people was Nishu Deshwal, a 22-year-old husband and father of 1. Now, Nishu was born and raised in Panipat, India. Initially, he pursued a career in modelling, but his true passion lay in showcasing his tractor driving skills. In 2017, he began uploading videos to YouTube showing his heavily modified tractors compete off against other modified tractors, as well as showing off his extraordinary tractor driving skills. These videos were ridiculous and quickly gained popularity. By 2024, his channel had grown exponentially, with Nishu having over 1.5 million subscribers and garnered more than 300 million total views. However, on February 28, 2024, Nishu would do a stunt that would sadly become his last. On that fateful day, Nishu went with a bunch of friends to a nearby field within the Panipat district to have some fun with his modified tractor and record some footage. And it was at this moment that one of Nishu's friends decided to live stream the event on Nishu's Instagram. The stream shows Nishu having fun. In the field, Nishu got on the tractor and drove crazy as he usually did, until the tractor's back wheels sank into the mud. All on live stream, you can see Nishu still sat on the tractor at a 90-degree angle. Slamming on the accelerator, the tractor's main body lifts from the ground and exhaust fumes pile out of the back. All on live, Nishu's face shows concentration, not fear, because this was a routine stunt for him, something that he had done countless times. What could possibly go wrong? Well, stuck in the mud, Nishu pressed on the accelerator, and all of a sudden, the entire tractor flipped over onto him. The main body of the tractor impacted with Nishu's head with a weight of over 3 tons, crushing his head, his skull, and his brain instantly, killing him in front of his friends and all those watching live. His friends screamed in terror as the tractor folded on itself in the blink of an eye. They could do nothing to help him, because by the time they rushed over, Nishu was already dead. Of course, Nishu's dedicated friends and fans were devastated. The very passion that brought him joy and happiness had tragically taken his life. Viewers flocked to his social media to offer their condolences and show how much they really loved him. Comments poured in, with many expressing their disbelief and total sorrow. Even today, 10 months later, Nishu's social media continues to be updated by his family, with his Instagram now at 2.1 million followers and his YouTube at 3.27 million subscribers. This is a true testament to the person that Nishu was, as well as the skill he had in performing these crazy tractor stunts. But this just goes to show that no matter how much experience you have, no matter how skilled you are, things can instantly go wrong and take your life. Sadly, in this case, Nishu just didn't expect the tractor to flip and break when it did, but at least he died doing what he loved, and that's not something everyone is blessed with. Whether you're poisoned whiskey, ale, or perhaps a nice, delicious cocktail, millions across the world like to have a tipple every now and then. But alcohol's like most things. It's all fine in moderation. Too much of anything will make you sick, as Cheryl Cole said. But you guys don't need me to tell you that abusing alcohol can have severe, deadly consequences, and this entry is a prime example of that. This haunting and frankly shocking livestream begins on May the 16th, 2023, in the city of Yuanyugang in the Jiangsu province in China. Now, in a flat in Jiangsu lived 34-year-old Douyin streamer Wang Mufeng. Wang, who went by the name of Brother 3000, would often go live on Douyin, China's version of TikTok, and perform insane feats of strength, all for donations. That day of May the 16th, Wang went live on Douyin and streamed himself participating in an online challenge named the PK Challenge, or the Player Knockout Challenge. Now, this challenge set two influencers against each other to compete one-on-one to win gifts and rewards from viewers. The person with the least amount of donations is knocked out of the challenge, and usually this is where the challenge ends. But for some streamers on Douyin, it's customary that the winner gets to choose a punishment for the loser. While these punishments can be anything, from hopping on a leg, or even something as silly as painting your face, on rare occasions, the winner can ask the loser to drink baijiu, a Chinese spirit with a typical alcohol content of 30 to 60%. Wang lost 3 of his rounds that night and was asked to consume baijiu as a punishment twice. All on stream, he opened the bottles showing that they were fresh. He then even poured the alcohol on the table and lit it to prove it was in fact alcohol, before downing a bottle, and then another, and then another.
就1分钟时间，跳到22，我立马就喝啊！跳到22我就。
That night, within the space of just a few hours, Wang consumed a total of 7 500ml bottles of baijiu. With an alcohol percentage of around 30 to 60%, even a lowball estimate, this kind of alcohol consumption was not only careless, but suicidal. After downing these bottles, the stream ended with Wang being very, very intoxicated. The viewers were happy, and donations were flowing in. It was what Wang would call a successful stream. However, the following day, nobody heard from him, and people assumed the worst. 12 hours after the stream, a welfare check was requested, and sadly, Wang was found dead. He died just a few hours after the stream ended from severe alcohol poisoning. While it's obvious that Wang definitely shouldn't have consumed what he did, and in my opinion, he is fully responsible for his death, there are many online that pointed the blame towards the viewers that were donating and pushing him to drink more and more. However, for me, the biggest concern is Douyin for allowing streams like this to continue. Apparently, Wang had been banned from Douyin many times previously for drinking, but he'd always bypassed this by opening new accounts and streaming to his heart's content. While Douyin didn't technically allow these drinking streams, they didn't actually stop them while they're in progress, and sadly it resulted in Wang losing his life, even if it was his own fault. On a warm June evening in 2016, 28-year-old Antonio Perkins, known to his close friends as Tony, was live on Facebook, unwinding in Chicago's North Lawndale neighborhood. He was sharing drinks, making memories with friends, until it all ended in total tragedy. Now, Tony was a father of 3 young children and a hard-working employee at McDonald's. He rarely missed a shift, and his family described him as an amazing dad who was completely devoted to his kids. That night, as he reconnected with friends that he hadn't seen in a while, he was stood in the street, live on Facebook, sharing a few drinks and having fun. On stream, you can see Anthony was relaxed, smiling, and enjoying the summer air alongside his friends.
Good water. Hey, y'all, he got to drink muscle. Yo.
Give my snowball. Give my snowball. Give me my snowball. Give me my snowball. Let's see what you to drink it out.
6 minutes into the live stream, a car cruised slowly past them. Tony noticed this and seemed suspicious, but dismissed it. However, just moments later, at 8:45 PM, this exact same car came back around. As Tony opened his mouth to say something to them, the windows rolled down and a sudden burst of gunfire shattered the evening. Tony was struck in the neck and the head and collapsed to the ground as the camera fell with him. Seconds after, Tony managed to pick up the phone, bringing his face back into view. The phone then gets dropped into the grass, but the live stream continued, capturing the desperate, heart-wrenching sounds that followed.
Tony, stay breathing. He's open up his blood. Tony, please, baby. Please. Gary, Tony just got shot. He's right here on the train. I was drinking 16, Tony.
Paramedics arrived within minutes, but by then, it was too late. Tony was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 9:07 PM, just 22 minutes after the shooting. Now, this is all just horrifying. Following his death, the police labelled this incident as a gang-related crime, pointing to Antonio's past as evidence. According to the authorities, Tony had a criminal record, including jail time for manufacturing heroin. He was reportedly known to them as someone involved in gang activity and was actually part of a list of individuals deemed likely to either commit or become a victim of gang violence. His family, however, denied all of these claims and said that he wasn't a gang member, describing him as a devoted father who had recently been promoted at his job and was dedicated to his children's future. Sadly, Tony's murder is not an isolated case in Chicago. Chicago is a city that has been marred with violence for years. In 2024, Chicago's murder count reached 653, nearly double the highest city of Baltimore, making it America's murder capital for the 12th consecutive year in a row. After researching this, I can't find that anyone was caught for this murder. While some of you may view his death through the lens of gang violence, it's important to remember that in that fleeting moment, Tony was simply a father and friend, enjoying the warmth of a Chicago summer night. That evening, with his friends by his side, he was living, before it was snatched away in an instant. This terribly tragic stream began on June the 29th, 2017, in Izium, Kharkiv Oblast, located in eastern Ukraine. In the early morning, as the residents of Izum were fast asleep, this is when 16-year-old Sofia Magurko, as well as her friend 24-year-old Dasha Medvedeva, decided to go for a drive in Dasha's BMW. For a bit of background, Sofia was a high school student who had become known on Instagram for documenting her life of being rich. She posed next to motorcycles and luxury cars, showing off her lavish lifestyle. On her Instagram, she would frequently go live to interact with fans and followers, but that morning, she began a live stream at around 3:30 AM after a night of heavy drinking, and it would soon turn tragic. The live stream in question begins with the pair already inside Dasha's BMW. Soon they began speeding along the road as music was blasting. Sofia can be seen sipping from a bottle of what appears to be alcohol, and while Dasha, the driver, is not visibly seen drinking on camera, it's assumed by her reckless behaviour and her driving that she too had also been drinking. At one point, Sofia shouts, "Hello, hi boys," as they continue laughing and hollering, both barely paying attention to the road. Dasha worries about how her thighs look on the livestream, showing that she cared more about what she looked like than the dark, dimly lit street that she was speeding down. To illuminate themselves better, Sofia turned on the car's interior lights, making it even harder to see the road ahead. Soon after putting these interior lights on, in a horrifying moment, the car impacts with a lamppost before the stream cuts to black. The stream continues to run for around 2 more minutes, recording voices of witnesses that rush to the scene. One male voice can be heard saying, "There's a dead body over there," and another one had fell out of the car. One guy asked, "Where's the body?" So you can just imagine what the scene looked like. The BMW had smashed headfirst into a lamppost and had completely wrapped itself around it. Sofia, who had been sitting in the passenger seat, was decapitated instantly upon impact. Dasha, her friend who had been driving erratically, was alive. She was rushed to the hospital, but she died from her injuries en route. This tragic crash left 2 young women dead, and it was all live streamed for the world to see. Sofia, a teenage beauty queen who had recently won a pageant in her hometown of Izium, and Dasha both lost their lives in the blink of an eye. They were drinking, speeding, and live streaming the whole thing, a deadly recipe for disaster. The driver's reckless behaviour and the fatal crash serve as a stark reminder of the brutal dangers of drinking and driving, made worse with distractions like social media. Gaming tournaments are meant to be the ultimate showcase of skill and competition, where the best of players clash over cash prizes and glory. Madden NFL tournaments, like many others, are typically filled with high tension, high stakes, and anticipation. And while they often get heated, in 2018, one such Madden tournament ended in complete horror, forever marking the history of competitive gaming. The tournament in question was the season's first Madden NFL 19 sports event, held at the Good Luck Have Fun gaming bar located in downtown Jacksonville, Florida. Beginning on August the 25th, 2018, the tournament was scheduled to run over the weekend from Saturday to Sunday evening, the 26th. That Saturday started just like all the other tournaments usually did. The competitors fought each other with blood, sweat and tears. That weekend, the event attracted 130 to 150 people. With Madden 19 being recently released, the general hype around the game was pretty high. Spectators were eager to see who would come out on top. One of the participants that year was 24-year-old David Katz. David went by the name of Bread in-game and was well known in the Madden community for his skill. David had attended multiple tournaments previously and even won $10,000 as a prize in the previous year.
He came in as a 7 seed and he just knocked off the 2 seed and he did pretty convincingly.
Yeah, I don't think of myself as a 7 seed. I think personally I'm one of the better players, and I like to let my game prove that.
David was just good at what he did. However, this wasn't the only thing that he was known for. David was also known for his strange and unusual personality. David reportedly acted strange around others, rarely spoke, and rarely showed any emotion, whether that be sadness or joy. He had this 1,000-yard stare, one that even his own father described as looking right through you.
David Katz keeps to himself. He's a man of business. He's not here for the experience and to go out, this, that, and the third. He's not here to make friends.
So David was a bit quirky, but he was a good player, he respected others, and on this first Saturday, everything went down smoothly. On the following day, on the Sunday, the tournament started again and continued without any faults, until around 1:30 PM. Around this time, David lost to fellow competitor Ken Alston, known as Evil Ken in-game, and was forced to leave the tournament. David apparently refused to shake his hand and was furious after being beaten. Shortly after losing, he stormed out of the gaming bar, placed his backpack in the adjoining pizza place, reached into his rucksack, and pulled out a .45 caliber pistol with a laser dot sight. Unknown to the others, he was also concealing another pistol in his waistband. After riling himself up, he walked back round the corner, back through to the gaming bar, and aimed the gun at 22-year-old Elijah Clayton, who was also competing in the tournament. At the time, the tournament was still being streamed live on Twitch to thousands, and at this moment, unfortunately, the camera was actually focused on Elijah. Horrifyingly, all on stream, you can actually catch a glimpse of David's red dot on Elijah's chest before the camera cuts to gameplay and David opens fire.
Joe Rice down 7-0 after the first drive by True Boy. Got a lot of good games going on.
It's a lot. It's going to be hard to get them on stream. It's a lot.
It's not a tough out today. Excuse me, not an easy out. Oh, fuck, what are you shooting with? Oh.
Elijah was shot 3 times, one in the chest, one in the forehead, and one in the right eye. David then proceeded to open fire on all the other players, shooting and killing 27-year-old Taylor Robinson as he fled the scene. He then continued firing, injuring 11 more people, and 20 seconds after opening fire, David turned the gun on himself. Within just a second, a fun gaming tournament had turned into something straight out of the pits of hell.
And from your vantage point, what happened in there?
He's a well-known, competitor. Came and shot up the place. It seems like it was premeditated. I don't think it has anything to do with him losing or who he lost to, because he lost twice throughout the tournament. I was actually one of the people that beat him. And there was another guy, Bugs, who beat him. And I mean, we're both still here, so I felt like he was targeting, but I don't think it was the people that beat him. So
what exactly did you see in the way of him coming in,
he was
shooting?
Weird all weekend, man. I mean, he had shades on. He didn't speak to anybody. Even after we played, I beat him. Went to shake his hand and tell him good game, and he just looked at me. He didn't say anything. He had on basically the same outfit he had on the day before. That was kind of weird. I feel like he came planned. Pointed my way. I took cover. I seen some good people dead, man. I seen people on the floor dead. So, yeah.
This was all just horrific and a senseless and avoidable tragedy that, frankly, in hindsight, someone should have seen coming. Apparently, Elijah had kind of been a bully to David. Elijah used to pick on him for his awkwardness, and there was even one occasion in a previous tournament where all the competitors ordered a cab to the airport, and when it arrived, they all got in and slammed the door in David's face and drove away. While of course David's actions cannot be excused, we can start to build a picture of what was going on in his head just based on his history. Sadly, at the time of the tournament, fellow competitors and David's friends had no idea that David was mentally ill and he was really not well. Throughout his life, he had suffered a variety of severe mental health conditions, starting as early as age 9. By the age of 12, he was on antipsychosis medication and large amounts of antidepressants. His mother worked as a toxicologist and believed that feeding her son these pills would magically fix him. In contrast, his father disagreed, saying that he needed natural remedies, not endless chemicals. These disagreements caused David's parents to divorce, and unfortunately his mother got full custody. Over his teenage years, he was allegedly abused by his mother, physically and mentally. He was diagnosed with dysthymia, a chronic form of depression, along with oppositional defiant disorder. Throughout his childhood, he had been in and out of mental institutions. 2 weeks before the tournament, David visited a gun store in Maryland, Baltimore, where here, despite his long history of mental health disorders, even going in and out of mental institutions, due to gaps in the background check process, David passed them and was legally able to purchase a Glock 19 as well as a .45 caliber handgun. Now, some people say that David could have wanted these guns for other means, but to me this shows clear premeditation. On the weekend of the tournament, he drove 11 hours from Baltimore with one jammed in his waistband and one concealed in his rucksack. When he lost, he must have just seen red and just completely lost the plot. This incident brought severe scrutiny on the security of the gaming bar, as well as gaming tournaments in general. It doesn't matter how big the scale is, a simple metal detector could have prevented all of this. It would have prevented David from entering in the first place, and it would have saved 2 innocent lives. In the years following, many lawsuits were raised for the deaths and injuries sustained. These lawsuits primarily focused on the gaming bar, the event organisers, and other businesses directly involved with the event. One victim even raised lawsuits against Electronic Arts, alleging that the company was negligent when it failed to provide adequate security at the venue. By researching, I'm unable to find any results of these lawsuits, so it's assumed that they were paid out of court and settled. But that is the end of the video. May everyone featured rest in peace. Now, yet again, I'm sat here completely flabbergasted at all the clips that we've just covered. I think live streams hit harder for me personally, as I know people would have been watching these live as they unfolded. The tractor stunt in India is a prime example of anything can go wrong when you least expect it. I understand that Nishu must have done this literally thousands of times before, and nothing had gone wrong until it all suddenly did. It's tragic that it cost him his life, but I suppose this is the risk that you take when you perform tricks like he did. But for his death to be live streamed to his fans and friends, it's absolutely shocking. Then we've got Brother 3000 that drank Baijiu after a challenge. I'm left completely speechless. You guys don't need me to tell you that this was just ridiculous. Don't ever drink like he did. You got to remember that alcohol is literally poison. When you get drunk, that's you feeling the effect of the poison. Honestly, I think Douyin should outlaw streams like this, but after researching it, it seems like these streams continue to this day. There's even apps that organise these one-on-one battles between streamers, so it seems that this horror is doomed to repeat itself. We can't possibly forget Tony's drive-by shooting, all on Facebook Live. That footage was just crazy, and the audio made me stop researching for the day. The complete agony in his friends' voices as he slowly slipped away just made me shudder. Next up, we've got the girls who drove through the night and crashed all on stream. That footage was haunting. The car was so crumpled, they must have been travelling at a very fast speed. The impact was severe. Of course, there isn't any proof that the driver was in fact drinking, but regardless, mistakes were made and it cost both of them dearly. And finally, the Madden Twitch stream shooting. Holy moly, where do I start here? A simple gaming tournament turned into a total nightmare for all involved. David should have never been allowed to get into the gaming bar, concealing hidden weapons. He shouldn't have been able to buy these in the first place. But like I said, a simple metal detector could and would have stopped all of this. But no security was in place. People were allowed to walk in and out of the gaming bar without even being searched. It was all just a crazy tragedy. He went completely out of his way to purchase the firearms 2 weeks before the event, showing clear premeditation, showing that he knew what he was doing and what he was planning. David was angry at the world, and he was mentally ill. Throughout all of his years of being in mental institutions, nobody was able to identify him as a threat, and sadly this resulted in the deaths of 2 innocent people, all while being streamed on Twitch. But most importantly, what did you think of this one? As always, I'm interested in all of your thoughts below. I do try and read every single comment, but if you're this far in and you're not subscribed, every other week we dive into all things tragic. From chilling, bizarre deaths to shocking moments captured right before horror. If that sounds like your kind of jam, be sure to tap that subscribe button below. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.